Let's say that you were chosen to go and address and speak to another planet of people, right? And you were going to be not the ambassador, I don't know if that's the word, but just a UFO comes along, picks you up, takes you off to their planet and says, what can you tell us about Earth? Like, are you proud to belong to the human race? Right? What can you tell us? And what would you say? I would say, sadly, I'm not impressed by the human race, by my fellow human beings. I'm a little bit embarrassed, actually, to say the least. And I try and say, but look, it's heavy duality there, down there. We didn't really have a good, head start off. It's too many complications. It's from the get-go. It's just like, and I try and explain it, and I would try my best to justify it, and say, look, the people on planet Earth, they don't mean harm. They don't know what they're doing. They're kind of lost. They're unaware, whether they've chosen to be unaware or unconscious or desensitized or indifferent, or asleep, whatever it is, that's another question. But I'm forgetting my train of thought here. They don't mean harm. They're doing the best that they can. They really are. Like parents are, don't mean harm on their children. They don't intentionally mean to do harm. And doctors don't intentionally mean harm. It's not the intention of most human beings. And that is pretty true to a certain degree, because but I think the intention is that when other people are in pain and are hurt and are disconnected from themselves, then they, without them indirectly do it. Like, a parent can still be abusive to the child and say, well, it's tough love. I'm just giving them tough love, and informing them about the harshness of life or something like that, or spoiling the child because they love the child to that degree, or like putting the child in time out, which is, as Gabor Mate would say, is actually neglecting the child from what's ever going on with them, for their own good type of thing. Or like I'm giving them the needle because it's for their own good. Like that's all with good intentions, right? I'm just trying to survive, get rich, so I can survive, so I can take care of my family, so I can take care of myself, whatever it is. It's like, I might sell dodgy chemicals, dodgy foods, just, I might do it, but it's not with to hurt others. Because if you ask people, majority, I think 99% of people say, is it what you're doing, is your intention is to harm others? I really feel that they would say, even a psycho, like narcissist, a family member of mine is a narcissist. If I said to him, are you deliberately, like my brother, you deliberately trying to hurt me? He'll say, no. And he'll honestly believe it. He will not think for one moment that he's actually trying to hurt me directly. He'll say, no, I'm out for your best interest, or whatever it is. Maybe that's the way he was taught. Maybe he saw my parents taking out their abuse, their frustrations on me, for whatever reasons, and and him therefore taking his abuse out on me is what parents do, because he sees that as an act of love. Like a lot of people believe that abuse is love. It gets twisted around. The parent beats the child constantly is because I love you and because I'm looking out for your best interest, and know what you do, and I need to tell you, and things like that. And so the child believes that they deserve the punishment, they deserve the abuse. Some women believe that they deserve to be sexually exploited. You find that with women who've been sexually harassed or molested with a child, and they often turn out to be in the adult film industry and things like that, and they deserve to be exploited further by men. and so on and so forth. And so we feel that we deserving of that. So for my brother, he just feels like, I mean, he's just twisted. Most of the world's just twisted. So he just feels, I'm doing with the best intentions. Like either, or I don't know, when I was abusing you as a child, let's say my brother was abusing me when we were kids, my parents didn't tell him, look, this is wrong what you're doing. They just ignored it and turned a blind eye to it. And then maybe he saw on television like the bullies, in high school, or the jocks, and in high school, and whatever it is, and the winners and the losers, and he just saw this, like I remember. This is serious. This is true. I mean, it's as crazy as it may seem. There was a time where a woman that I was having a fling with, and I really wasn't respectable to women for a while, and the one woman said to me, you're a real arsehole, and I was just smiling. I was just so happy. I was like, yes, I'm an arsehole. I finally got because arseholes, gets the girl. Why the good guys finish last. That's what I'm the arsehole. Then definitely, then I'm on the right track. I'm doing the right thing. I was so proud of myself for being the arsehole. I remember my friend used to have a saying. He says, "Play it mean and it keeps them keen," or something like that about women. Be mean to them because it keeps them keen, like type of thing. I mean, I know my late granny told my father, you must even told myself, you must never tell a woman you love her, because then she's got all the power. So I was like, okay, cool, wow. So, I mean, this is a bit of a nutshell. I'm just winging this talk, I suppose, but I wanted to say that, like, people are not doing it to so-called hurt one another, manipulate it, but we are. You see, and so the thing is that, so we say, forgive them, Father, for they don't know what they do. A friend of mine, he mentioned about his father, that he sent a picture of himself to his father. This has happened to me as well, let me tell you. Like, I've maybe been out on a hike somewhere or something like that. I've taken a photo, I've sent it to people in my family, and my father will look and he'll comment, he'll be like, those shoes are finished. You need to be throwing them away, or something like that. Like, come on, Or I bet you weren't wearing sunscreen, or you probably didn't take water with you, or something like that. Like, not encouraging, nothing, thoughtful, just. And so my friend also sent a picture of himself or whatever to his father, and the father says, like, your hair is just so untidy, or something like that. And we're discussing it and saying, well, is this, so what does one do in these situations? It's like his father's not really out to criticize him, right? His father's not really out to hurt him directly. So what's going on here? What's going on here? Like, I know that my father, I don't know if he would sabotage us, but he wouldn't necessarily help us to be better than him in business. I know that sounds terrible, but my father's highly competitive, and I've heard this being spoken about by, I can't remember who it was, but they were saying that, like, professors in universities who are teaching their own children will often, because they're unhealthy, will often not allow their child will deliberately, not give them the marks that they deserve, because then they will look not as accomplished or as successful as their child was. You find this a lot, like where fathers will sabotage their own children because of feeling insecure. So again, we're dealing with a lot of shadow here. We're dealing with a lot of unconscious behavior here. I mean, a mother who feels challenged by her attractive daughter will make her daughter feel insecure about her weight. Maybe, you got to eat more and whatever it is, and she sees she's putting on the weight, and maybe she's not as pretty as she used to be. She's not getting the boy's attention as much as she used to be, and the mother says, great. I mean, you get Munchausen syndrome or whatever it is, where the mother poisons the child in order for people to feel sorry for the mother that the child is sick, so the mother gets sympathy and attention from other people. No, this is true. This is real. This is not making this up, And so, what do we do about this? Do we turn the other cheek? Like I told a story, and I got into hot water about it from a viewer of mine. One day when I was visiting a small town here on holiday, like a Hogsback as it's called, it's for more hiking and and just really, it's forestry. It's beautiful. It's quiet. It's quaint. It's on top of mountains. It's really a small village. I mean, community of maybe 500 people, and whatever it is, in a small village. So there's, it's African village nearby. Beautiful. And when I arrived there, well, the second day that I was there was a guy selling sticks, and he was drunk, right? And his clothes were sort of really worn and torn. It was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and he's selling walking sticks, and drunk, and he's walking in the road, busy, like, from side to side, whatever it is, and he sees me, he runs to me, I'm selling, please, I'm hungry, and he was like spitting, he was like almost, really getting, it was a sand road, so it wasn't that fast, but I mean, he was literally, I had to like sort of move out of the way for him, like just way of, sorry man, like gee whiz, like have some self-respect, like at least don't be drinking, at least maybe clean up your act. And I got into so much, they said, how dare you, you're so privileged, you didn't go through apartheid, you got clothes in your cupboard, and you have a shower, you have running water, and all these excuses. And let me tell you, sometimes the village people are much better than the people do in the cities. I've spent time in villages, I've lived in villages, or on a farm with a village nearby, and I've spent days and weeks in a village, having the experience. They do to a certain degree. Anyways, and so like there he was the victim, not me. See, this is the problem, is that he was the victim, not how I felt, not how the words that I had to say were inconsiderate, were not right, and unthoughtful and ungrateful and whatever it is, and I should have probably done I should have given him the shirt of my back. But here's a man who can't even bother, and she'll justify it and be like, oh, whatever, like, oh, well, he has to drink because he's in so much pain, maybe he can't get medication, whatever it is, we will justify, we will apologize for them, we will make up every possible excuse for them, and it turns out that we will be the victims, as we will be on the receiving end, not they are the victim, sorry. But in turn, you become the victim in this way. And so that's it. It's like, well, your parents really want the best for you. Okay, fine. So firstly, you gaslighted. A mother who's poisoning her own daughter, to get sympathy when she's sick from other parents or whatever it is. Your parents just want the best for you. I used to hear this when I went to psychologists all the time. I was like, no, they want the best for themselves. We want the best for ourselves. That's all. We're narcissistic, not all of us, and so on and so forth. And so it's like people who are enforcing you to wear the mask or to get the needle, it's not because they care about you, it's because they care about themselves. They care about themselves, right? It's like, well, you're going to infect me, and rightly so in a way, but they don't care if they have to take away all of your rights, right? If you might not agree, I don't care. Even whatever you might think, no matter if it's a 99.97% recovery rate and whatever, it doesn't matter. You have to shut down your business for me, right? And for the collective. Like, who the hell do you think you are? That you've been working in your business for 15 years, whatever it is, just managing enough to have enough profit just so you can feed your family, and you're not wanting to shut down, and I'm telling you to shut down, I'm telling you to whatever it is, and you're like, I don't want to do it. I don't agree with this outcome. It's not right. Well, you will do it. You will do it because that's what I need you to do, right? So it's complete narcissism. It doesn't matter what you're going through, what's happening on your side of things. Anyway, my point being is that, like, to be honest, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed by my family. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed by my lady friend who I live with. I'm embarrassed. Like, I was thinking about it this morning. She is so bone lazy. It's ridiculous. She is so not willing to help out and around the house. Everything's my job to do. It's like, she spends too much time, and I'm not just talking about my lady, I'm talking about most people. They spend too much time on their cell phones. They spend too much time watching rubbish. Like, I'm embarrassed not just for her watching so much TV, but like, I feel embarrassed for the people that are on TV. Like, she watches this My 90 Day Fiancé or something like that. I don't know. Then they got also like all these offshoots of it, like after the 90 days, or like, the happy ending of 90 days. I don't know, whatever it is. And it's like, And I feel embarrassed. Like these people, you know, I mean, they don't know what's going on, and they're being exploited and taken advantage of. I'm saying the people on the TV, they're barely getting paid. They're barely getting paid, and cameras are following them around in their relationship and wanting to know every single detail. It's like, how many times have you had sex, you know, or have you had sex yet, or whatever it is. And it's like completely, it's like embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. It's shameful. You know, I was watching also in South African TV that tries to, also like the reality TV here. This young girl, you know, she's famous because she's got a beautiful body. She's got a huge bum, and she's got big breasts, and she's light skinned, you know, and she's Americanized. I mean, she's a South African. She's young, and that's really what she's famous for. She's got no real. She doesn't sing. She doesn't do anything. She's just got, you know, a good body, if you want to call it, and like she goes with her gay friend to get their legs waxed, and she's getting her legs waxed, and she's saying, "Oh, I've got period pains, and I hope my." It was disgraceful. My tampon. She was talking about. I was like, "Hello, you don't understand how many young children are watching you. How many children, like you're just talking about it, you know, like, I mean, massive eyelashes, so much makeup on. It's like, I'm so embarrassed for you. I'm so embarrassed. It's so embarrassing that people believe that, like, I mean, like, that, like, even the presidential system, like, people believe that, oh, that they're voting in somebody and they're giving them all the power, not to realize that somebody else is going to come along who, I mean, anyway, that's the whole voting system. It's something. Like I'm saying, you know, everyone like, well, they love Obama. Okay, Obama can do this, he can do that, he can't do any wrong, whatever it is. But don't you realize somebody else is going to come after Obama? Don't you understand that no matter how much you support the one person and how much rights, like you agree with them and you support their agendas and their, I don't know, whatever they come up with, that like eventually, you know, somebody else is going to come along and who you're not possibly going to like and you have no control over, but now you've empowered this tyrant to do whatever he wants, to take, you know, to make privatized medical aid or something like that, and you agree with it because you like his character, then that law stays in place for the next guy, Trump, and now you don't like Trump. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's embarrassing. But that's something else. It's really embarrassing. I think it was, what's her name now? Was made Woman of the Year. Not Nicki Minaj. This other one. I can't remember her name. Her nails are long, and I can't remember. And her rap, she has a music video called WAP, I think it is, or something like that. And apparently it's just pornographic. And I don't know what her name is. But she's one of them, you know, one of these hip hop rapper type of thing, and like, you know. And she was made Woman of the Year. For music, or something. I know, it's just like it's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. So it really is. So even for my lady friend, it's like just embarrassing. It is just so embarrassing. And you know what? Like, even though, okay, we give them all the benefit of the doubt, they don't know what they do. They never got a chance to wake up. They have no freedom of choice. They're just suffering, you know, because of the cabal, because of the education system that they were raised in, because of the religion, you know, they're just so pitiful. They just, you know, they you know, they have no self-awareness, they have no self-control, they're fluoridated, they chemtrailed, they don't know, they, you know, program, they don't know. Guys, they just don't know. And like, you know, they're trying their best and they got the best intentions, you know, and they don't mean to hurt anybody or anything or any animal. They're just going about their business. They're trying the best that they can. But even if you want to take that stance, fine. But nonetheless, it's still embarrassing. It's still absolutely shameful and embarrassing. And for myself, I'm sorry. It's very hard for me, and I'm just being honest, because heaven forbid we have to be honest about the way we feel. It's embarrassing if I had to, like, you know, be lifted up by a UFO and go to another planet, and they knew nothing about planet Earth, and I would tell them about what was going on here. Like, even I'd say, but please, guys, please really understand it. You don't know what it's like. You have no idea what it's like, or something like that, you know. And try and justify it. Because I think that majority of people on this planet in that situation about their own lives, sitting down at a table and talking about their own life, like in their actions or whatever it is, you know? Like I did a video about the security guard the other day, the car guard, and the woman at the Planet Fitness, the gym that I went to. It's like, what's my point now? Damn it. I think I was saying that they just excused, or something like that. That it's just okay. Their behavior is just okay. They're trying the best that they can. They didn't get a good deal, right? They got a bum deal, and so that's what I'm saying. If I had to ask any of them, they would come up with that excuse. They would explain it. They would justify it. I was doing that. I used to do that all the time, and it led me nowhere. So what I'm saying is, ending off on here, right? Is that like in ourselves, we really, if you're going to know thyself, you've got to know that there are people in your life that you really feel embarrassed about. You really feel shameful about. And there's almost nothing you can do about it, because maybe they, you know, people that you live with, you got nobody else, you stuck together through, you're renting together, you're in a business together, you're married, you have children together, whatever it is, you know, we find ourselves in these situations. But we're allowed to feel embarrassed, for heaven's sake. We're allowed to feel shameful, right, of what's going on. You know, we're allowed to, and we should honor ourselves, and this is how I feel. And it's not nice to feel that way. We feel like, oh, we're not being loyal to the people, you know, and whatever it is, but like we owe it to ourselves to understand this is the way I feel, and it is. I'm embarrassed. I realized this morning, and I'm fair to say that, and I'm embarrassed about my family. I really am. I'm embarrassed. I just think I can't excuse them on so many fronts. I can't let them off the hook. Okay, not because of what they've done to me. I'm just saying who they are in themselves. I just cannot. I refuse to. Because I care for them at the same time. You know, I just can't let them off the hook. I'm sorry. I really want what's best for them. I'm not asking them to apologize to me. They don't owe me anything. They don't owe me anything for their own self, for their own pride, for their own self-esteem, for their own self-respect. Have a bit of self-respect, damn it. Have a bit of self-respect. That's just what I'm saying. You know, don't be such a clown. Don't be such a slave. Don't be such, you know, a dreamer or a sleep. Don't waste your life. Don't make excuses all the time or whatever it is. Don't think that you are a good person when you have really no reason to think that at all. To think that, to look at your motivations sincerely and see where you're coming from. Maybe you are just giving charity because you just want the community to see you as an, you know, a philanthropist, whatever it is, you know, good, somebody who does good or something like that. Or, you know, you do things out of guilt. Like, look at yourselves. You know, my lady friend, so many things I talk about in the house, I say, well, don't worry, I'll do that job, because if you have to do it, it'll never get done. And she'll be like, and I'll say many things, and she'll say, but you don't say such nice things about me. I say, but I'm just saying what's true. She didn't do the ironing for like a month and a half. A month and a half, what were you doing? You were sitting on your phone watching TV. I refuse to do ironing, and I refuse to do dishes. I don't refuse, I'll do it if I have to, but I have enough on my plate already, right? And it's like, what were you doing? But so she really thinks that she takes care of the house, that she really thinks she's an all-rounder. People really believe it. I mean, on the surface of things, they're protecting themselves, and they'll really believe it. They'll really believe it. Like the landlords that they think they're good landlords. They're terrible. They're the ones that I've experienced. They're cunning. They you know, like I'm saying, they're manipulative. They don't do what they're supposed to do, and they're not for, you know what I'm talking about. And yet people think that they are the most virtuous, kind-hearted, sensitive, caring individuals. You know, especially like because I'm enforcing everyone to put on their mask. I'm enforcing everybody to take the needle. I'm enforcing everybody to stay home and whatever it is. That I'm a good person. People don't realize their intentions, their motivations. They're not aware of themselves because they're not willing to be humble. They are not willing to be humble, and they're not willing to be vulnerable. And for that, I point the finger at them, and I do judge them, and I do look at them, and I say, you know what, you're right. Everything it does, it all happens to us, but at the same time, you can know your intentions, know your truth, know your motivations, from that point of view. Ask yourself why. You don't have to be a psychologist, you don't have to be a professor, you don't have to be a scientist, a philosopher, a shaman, a guru, or whatever it is, a personal motivator. You don't have to be anything, a mystic, a saint, a Sikh. It doesn't matter. You can just for yourself, you know the truth. You know the truth in yourself. You know it. You are hiding it from yourself. I'm saying these people, even for myself, so many of, I'm not immune to this. I know this. But you know it, and you're just not willing to look at it. You are guilty, but you are not willing to look at it. My friend's father is guilty, right? My father is guilty. We are guilty until proven guilty. What's it? Innocent until proven guilty. They are guilty. They are absolutely guilty, because if they were able to, for one moment, just be self-honest and look at themselves and interact and say, hold on, maybe I am hurting my son. Like with my father, when he is nasty to me and then I don't reply to his messages, or he doesn't hear from me for like a month. Well, maybe I did say something to upset Aaron. Maybe I should look at my actions. No, he doesn't. He doesn't look at his actions, not interested. Or my brother. When I say to him, man, I want nothing to do with you. He looks at me and goes, why? Why? Why would you want nothing to do with me? I'm like, not completely unaware, but I'm telling you, if I had to ask him and say to him, and I did, I said to him, bro, if I had to sit you down and torture you till you agreed and you were honest and you would break, I guarantee you, there is somewhere that you are aware that, but you just do not want to be. You are consciously, I'm telling you, willing to be unconscious. You are consciously willing to be unconscious about your actions, and that's, I would size up, humanity for most people. Again, they don't have to be shamans, they don't have to be professors. They just have to see in themselves, sitting here, by themselves in a moment and looking at their actions, a moment of self-introspection or self-honesty. And that's what that guy, what's his name from the movie Chimedica, Ben Stewart, at the end of the movie Chimedica, I remember this, he says, we will take how many 9/11s to rather any time, this was quite a while ago, than actually have one moment of self-reflection, of self-inquiry, of looking within. And that's the truth. And that's why I'll say that people, it's the best excuse now, this whole CV story that people have, to be so engaged, to be so distracted, to be so appalled, to be so up in arms, to be so submissive, whatever it is, so that they don't have to sit quietly for just a moment and have a moment of self-reflection. All right, folks, take care, be well.